Okay, hold on. I need to check something. Okay, so I did leave off, or last stream left off with this image a little unfinished, but as you can see, or you may have seen on the stream intro, the 2 minutes before, I did end up finishing it. I did a little off-camera drawing, and I think it looks pretty decent. I was wondering a bit between, or I was contemplating between red and the blue background, and ultimately I think the blue background just looks better. One, because it works with the shadows, but two, because it's a different color, so it kind of contrasts both the yellow and the reds and makes them pop a little bit more. Wonder if I might need to change the kid. Maybe he blends in too much. And I know, so most of you are probably looking here, but I'm trying to look at the thumbnail because this is supposed to be the cover. So if it's actually seen online, it's never really going to be the full resolution. It's most of the time going to be just like this. Which, at least it's legible. I think that's the main thing. The words can be read, and then the kid can be seen. I mean, the fox can be seen. So, yes, and this is even square. Like for an itch cover, apparently they're actually longer than they are tall. So this is another cover, which I think this one looks pretty good. It gives the fox the full amount to shine. All right. Well, aside from that, I also did a little bit. Whoa. Excuse me? Okay. Alright. Also did a little bit of, what is this called? Typing, I guess. So yeah, it is coming out eventually. And I know this is pretty bare bones, right? So, obviously this is going to be the cover page for the cover. But if you see here, I have 2 different columns, which apparently is standard in the industry or something. Yeah, if we're going by D&D as a standard, being one of the largest ones, largest tabletop gaming, I don't know, corporation game. We'll just say games. But based on other games that I've seen, I like this little, like a big first column, little second column. So that way, let me go back to the drawing. So, I want to file new. Not this will work. See, so take this as our page. I'm going to, first things first, rotate it. Okay, so we'll use the pencil. About that size. This color, a little bit more red. I don't want to burn my eyes. Bam. Okay. Alright, so, oh my gosh. Whatever. I'll do that later. So, take this as our page, for example. I think they were blocked off like this. So this can all be for text, and say I don't have enough to fill out this part and this part, then then this part over here can be filled in by a drawing. And I've seen that done on another tabletop that I've bought, never played, which I will be honest, but I do like the art for it. So you may be able to see my motivations for getting some tabletop books. Yeah, so I think this is just a little beautiful thing for formatting. Back to it. So, yeah, preamble. Cover page, I think there might be a preamble. See, this tabletop was initially designed to be a micro RPG, being from around 4 pages to 7 pages, 10 pages, I think, max in length. After that, it's not really micro, it's more just small. So this was designed to be 7-ish pages, but okay, no, it was designed to be 7-ish pages. That's why we have these. That's why I'm splitting it up into 2 books, like 2 micro RPGs that work hand in hand together. So the first one will obviously have the rules, which will be this one. And the second one, setting data. As you can see, I do want it to be on a single island. Yeah, so single island, mainland, inklings of a mainland. So yeah, so I will develop the island, and then say the players don't want to stay on the island, that would be up to the game master to then develop that story, that area, that place. Let's see. Let me just change this up a bit. I want stable people. Maybe find areas 7 or so. Okay. Okay, yes, but this book is Sunshine. Oh man. You know, LibreOffice is great, but this update kind of broke everything, and it removed my dark mode for the it removed my dark mode for the app. Yeah, so as you can see, we've already got some character creation, and this isn't really like character, it's more the abilities of your character, right? Because the player then determines the character, whether they're scared, bold, brave, or whatnot. Yeah, and so that's a little bit of what I don't want to do. Like give you a small 6 nexus to say, oh well, you can, your character is just gonna be like this, or this. Yeah. So, and that's why this is the creativity game. You have ultimate freedom. All right. So this is bare bones, but it is almost. No. Okay, no. This is bare bones, and it is able to be played somewhat. And this is how you. Okay, if I don't know if I'm a professional, but if we're using the definition that you make games and you got paid to, or someone paid you to play them, then I suppose I am. So, professional tip. You always start your tabletop RPGs, or any RPG for that matter, with the minimum viable product. Like everything else is flavor, but can you determine the roles? That's what's necessary. All right. Rip headphone users. Okay, give me a second. Okay. There's not enough caffeine in the world that can keep me awake. Right, here are the elements: water, fire, earth, wood, wind, metal, and void. Okay, so back to my making everybody fly. I think wood, we would, yeah, okay. What I should or am capable of doing is growing a tree, then leaning it back. Basically Kung Fu Panda. Have you seen that movie? Decent movie. Lean the tree back, then slingshot myself into the air. And so I can probably do that a couple of times. Maybe not in the desert, but everywhere else. Maybe. Or you know what I could do is... Okay, I need to draw it out. So for wood, what is possible Let me just delete this, add this, add a couple layers, do this. Actually, that's still a little too light. That's a little bit better. Okay, so first, for wood, what I would want, like, what is possible is that you make, I don't know, these could be like clover leaves. Giant, so you would be about here. Holding onto the clover leaf. Then, what you do is that you make it start to spin all around, rotating. So, if you will, just... And so this is you spinning along with it. Just... And so that will be like some of those toys where you hold it between your hands, it goes up and then has 4 propellers to spin away. Yeah, so that's what will happen. You just... I don't know how you would spin it. Maybe you'd have like vines or something to act as hands. Okay, so that's another possibility for flights. Let's see, what was the last one? Metal. Oh, okay. And here I shall reveal to you one of the inspirations for this. That's the other inspiration for this. I think this is Yasha, Legend of the Demon Blade. Great game, by the way. People say it's roguelite, but truth be told, I say it's not. Solely because you define your playstyle at the beginning of each run. It's more of an action RPG. And kind of time attacky without the time. Without the time keeping. Okay, here is the no way. Okay, no, sorry, I just connected something. Let me... Okay. So this is the second inspiration, or rather the first inspiration, The Legend of Hay. Great movie, by the way. They're even coming out with the second one. It's particularly for metal. Oh, come on. There he is. This guy, Infinity. Man, he was so cool in the movie. Yeah, so anyways, he essentially could fly. And so what he'd do is that he had some metal, we'll say metal plates. And so what he could do is that he would stand on top, or he could stand on top of them. Right, there he is, and then he'd just levitate the metal plates that would then also move him. And so I think he also had them around his waist. So we'll go ahead and do this. So then there's some here, probably around the wrists too. And maybe a supporting plate on the chest. So that way he could fly. And so I think that is cool. I did it again. Okay. Do this. Alright, hopefully you can't hear it, but it is raining, which is great. You do not believe how much I like the rain. Only, possibly only because I am where I am, but it's very nice. It helps cool down the air, which Lord knows we need it. Okay. There's... Let me use my mouse for this. So yep, 4 skills, 4 stats. And I know you may be thinking, oh well, you can't do too much with stats with only 4 stats. And you might be right. So what you can do with 4 stats is that um, you can obviously roll just the stat alone, and truth be told, these 4 cover basically everything. Like strength determines the strength and the abilities of the body, which means, or could mean, you. Okay, let me organize my thoughts for a second. Strength being the strength and ability of the body is also the capacity for damage, being that, like, when you build muscle, your bones and your tendons also become stronger in order to support the amount of weight that you can lift and the amount of weight and the amount of stuff that you can do now. So dexterity is the speed of the body, which, I mean, what else is there? See, most of the other rules are then mental. So, give me a moment. Alright, cool. So black tea is pretty good. I will always recommend it to be hot or warm rather than cold, unless you use a diabetes inducing amount of sugar. Back to it. So everything else is mental, like wisdom. Okay. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. Because knowledge is only as good as how well you can apply it. Okay, just got a message. The elements then. Oh, well, I already talked about them a little bit. So we do have omemories, which are little, which are little, like, oh my gosh. I do this too much. So we do have omemories, which are little packets, I guess. Usually they contain a small blessing or something from a Shinto priest or some priest from overseas. Wow. Okay, it's really hard. It's raining really hard. Okay. Oh, you know what? This isn't written down, or this isn't written down on the. Nope, too far away. I'm not gonna bother. You know, I actually didn't expect to make changes. So weapons. This game is supposed to take place in 2 time periods. So firstly, something more medieval, and secondly, something more ordinary, like today, because that's where the Legend of Hay was set. So, the weapons, though they may not be here, are supposed to be something like swords, halberds, guns, bows, and I think tomes and staves. So you can attack with your mental abilities. In the ordinary world, there will be guns, yes, but HP limits them, because HP is a little bit like not how much damage you can take, but how much damage you can avoid without dying. Right? Because I don't know how to explain it. How much damage you can avoid without dying. How much damage you can take without dying. So HP it's say you're half HP, that doesn't mean like half your body is gone. Half HP doesn't even mean that you lost a limb. So, where is this? Alright, we'll do it with a stick figure. So, say you get shot, just pew. Like if it scrapes you, that might be like minus 10 HP right there. Depending on how much health you have. If you get full on shot, you won't. You usually wait. Hold on. If you do get full on shot, first thing, you're in trouble. Second is that you kind of I don't know. See, because if you normally if you get shot anywhere, it's just always gonna be bad. But here particularly guns, it's only like 3D. It's like 3d4 of damage, so max 12. But so here's the best part of having multiple dice is that you control the averages, and the average of a d4 is 2, so that's about 6 damage on average. So that's about 6 damage. Okay, this is really hard to explain. That's 6 damage if you take the full amount, because you also have armor. And armor, what that does is on every attack that you would take, like this to here, you then have natural armor, which say you're wearing nothing, it would be 1d4, average of 2. So then you would reduce this damage by 2, and that armor is like you dodging, like you leaning out of the way. Roll. Say you get hit with the punch, then you would kind of lean back into it so it doesn't do too much to you. Okay. Right. I was talking about HP. So back to HP, it's like your volume of blood, which you're at 100% most of the time. Okay, no, I don't know. I don't need blood. It's the amount of damage you could take. And it's a little bit like Dragon Ball Z, where they have, I don't know, like a chi field around them. So the damage that they take, more, rather than going to the body, it goes to the field, and it's trying to weaken the field. So that way the final blow, the one that takes you down to 0 HP, that's the one that actually hits and like goes through you. Boom. Okay. Okay, yeah. Maybe it wasn't too hard to explain. Maybe I'm just not too decent in talking, but I hope that clears some stuff up. And so, of course, you can upgrade your armor. Basic clothes are 4, because what really do they protect? Not much. And paper armor, perhaps historical, perhaps not, but that's the good thing about fantasy. You can just add things to it. Cloth armor would be like your gambeson and whatnot. And I only know this because I only know of most of these things because I watch YouTube. Scale armor, truth be told, I think was akin to plate, which would be steel, but for the purpose of this game, we're rating it lower. And so you see the 16 and the 14. And you may be asking yourself, how can you do that? How can you have how can you have a 16 and a 14 when the standard set of dice is 4, 8, 10, 12, and a 6 between? Oh, and a D20. And the D100. But we're not really using these. So, so this is supposed to use a standard set of dice. Why? Because they're cheap. Because you can find a standard set of dice anywhere. I think for $14 you can get a bag usually that carries about 6 sets of dice. And so for this game, each person needs about 2 sets. Yeah, 6 or 8, one of the two. So with about one bag, you could already set up 4 players. 3 players, 1 GM. 16, 14. Right. So you may say, how do I get to 14? How do I get to 16, 18, and 20? And 22 and 24? Well, you use two dice maximum, and I'll explain why later. So 2 dice. So 14 could be a D10 and a D4. Note that we're not using D2s because those skew the averages in a weird way. I don't like the chances of them. Okay, but you could also say a D6 and a D8 or that's about it. So, and so that goes for your stats too. So whenever they're called, you then roll the stat and whatnot. Let's see here. What to do. Yes. I don't know what to call these. So, in normal games, they're supposed to be called classes. In this game, I think I might call them archetypes. Right, because they're essentially what is the mystics, the casters from around the world. So we have rune riders, which will inscribe their spells onto onto something. I mean, I would like to think that they have a book or something that they just flip through the pages, say, yeah, I want this one, and then cast it. And to differentiate them, all the casters, they each have their own set of things that they can do, or they each have their own buff, and that's part of, excuse me, voice crack or something, and that's part of gaming. I would like to think, rather than debuffing or having negative traits to them, I always usually like to give positive traits to empower the players rather than taking away or removing a mechanic from them. Yeah, so most of these are pretty cool, pretty easy to determine since they all fall within the rules of this game. And then we have the card sharks. Oh, card shark, you are something. We'll get into battle later, I think. Okay. So, in this game of dice, card sharks are a little bit out there, shall we say. The whole idea for them came from a couple of places. From Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's the first seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they had like the dungeon dice monsters and capsule monsters, if you recall those. Well, and also from Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, where they can just call out monsters from their cards. It also came from Card Captor Sakura, which I have never seen, but I know that they have cards, okay? And also from Cool Decept. Cool Decept being spelled Culdecept, I think. Culdcept. Cold Decept. Cold Decept. Doesn't matter. Which was a game and that was turned into a manga, which I am enjoying reading. Can I find it anywhere online? No. So I have to buy them, one book at a time. I think there's 4. No, I think there's 5 volumes. For some reason, 1 and 2 are the cheapest. Number 3 is like $30, and then number 5 doesn't exist anywhere, and number 4 is never really available. They were released by Tokyo Pop sometime long ago, before I was 3 years old. Yeah, copyright 2003 Tokyo Pop Inc. Cool. So this one class, the card shark. Oh boy. You still need the dice, but you don't have the second set, which is the power dice, which can be added to any roll at any time, but only once. So say you fail a roll, and this is like a second win, a second chance, it's between the time when you actually fail and when you would have succeeded. So say you're struggling to pick up a rock, then you get a burst of adrenaline, and that's when you add the dice. And so it's basically at any time, at any amount. So you can add 3, 4, 5, or just a single dice to your roll. And so this is what skews everything into the player's favor. But they do disappear. So however many dice you use, those are the dice that you use, and that's why these are a full set. So 1 be 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Back to the cards. They don't get these. What they do is that they have almost a full set of cards. I remove kings, queens, and jacks from I think it's from clubs and from not from spades, from diamonds, right? So from 52 cards, hold on, give me a second, 13 times 4. Right, 4, carry the 1, 5, 2, 52. From 52 cards, we are down to 48, 46, I think. I think jokers will be optional rules. So we're down to 46 cards. Because the face cards, they're what you use to summon the monsters. And oh boy. That's this class is this archetype. Let's not say class, since I do claim it to be classless. This archetype of magic is my favorite and my least favorite to try and balance. So the players get 5 dice, but as a card shark you will get 5 cards with 3 extras face down. So 8 cards in total out of 46. That's maybe 1/6 of the draw. 1/6 of the draw, and you would have 6 face cards inside. So you have a decent chance to get a face card, decent chance to not get a face card. See, but whereas every other class does not have a defined amount, a defined number that they're going to add, you as a card shark do, and that is overpowered. especially in this game of dice and chance. So how do I balance it? Well, we have four faces, right? Spades, clubs, hearts, and diamonds. Diamonds. Okay, so spades are as is. They're at 100% power all of the time, no matter what. You play them, they are their amount. They are the amount that says on the card. Which face cards are equal to 10. Or a summon. So, and why aren't they equal to 12? Well, to nerf them just a little bit more, shall we say. Just given the amount of 8s, 9s, and 7s that they have to draw from. So, clubs are at 50%. Hearts, you take 1d4 of HP damage, as in you cannot block this damage, and you cannot reduce it by any amount. Diamonds are always equal. Whoa. Diamonds are always equal to 0. And you're like, I know. And I know this does seem bad for them. However, what happens, or what can happen rather, is that discarding a card, will void all of these effects, except for spades, because you can't change anything from 100%. So all of the negatives, you would discard, and then they would just act as a normal spade card. And so this way, the card shark becomes a what is it called? A resource management archetype. Right. Hold on, let me And so you may be thinking this sounds a little unbalanced, and I will have to say to you, false. Solely because I've done 100-ish draws for this class, and each one, okay, if you're smart about it, each one gives about 6 uses to the player, which, if you're looking back, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, that's one more use than people normally get. So will I change this? Maybe. Probably not. Don't bet on it. Okay. Yes, and so Card Shark was actually devised in part to make a dungeon crawling experience where you would use solely a deck of cards. And will that come out? Maybe. Maybe later. And now we get to the meat and bones of this. Wow, 1044. That was a pretty good explanation, if I do say so myself. So, I had this idea for role playing. Have you ever played or seen content from what's that card game? No, I can't forget it now. From Inscription. So, if you've played it, you know that the first boss has masks that he wears to play the characters of other, or that he has masks that he wears to play characters. And so for a tabletop game, what better, like, wouldn't that be so cool to have the GM say, like, okay, let's begin, and then have the mask there? Yeah, so this is coming with a mask making tutorial, and super easy mask making tutorial. You can use one single tissue box to make a decent mask. And yes, I have tried. And yes, I have made them. They will be examples. So there was supposed to be a third mask that was a little more complex than the first two. That hasn't panned out. So with the single tissue box, we can make a basic mask. We don't really need to wear it so much as have it up for the players to see. And it would be cooler if everyone around the table was wearing a mask, one of their character, one of one of whatever and whatnot, and the GM had like a set just on the table for him to use. But for the purpose of this, it's mainly more for the GM. So, alright, 1 and 2. So the masks number 1 and 2, let me grab them. Right, okay. We have we'll say a horned mask, shall we? We have a horned mask. This one is simple. It's basically 2D. All the elements are just layered on top to make it easy. It's a simple mask, simple design. Not much to go on about. except that rather than wearing it, it's supposed to be on like a popsicle stick, so you can place it in front of your face without actually having to struggle to put it on. As I said, it's mainly for the GM. You would more have them ready and prepared for every, well, not every character, but for a couple of characters that you have to play. Maybe one general for a monster, like say the players want to talk to something, then you would pull out the monster mask. Ouch. So yeah, simple, easy, something any kid could do. You don't even need hot glue for this. You could use the basic Elmer's glue that you get in school. And that's the whole point of this. I want to give... it's how can I give you the best experience for cheap without also wasting too much of your time. Okay. So, second mask. You might need hot glue for this one, just because it actually has 3D elements. So this one is a fox mask. Fox half mask. And so I think this is genius because where is it? So the tissue boxes, they are rectangular prisms, right? But they have an opening on them, so I do believe it takes up 2. So there we go. We have the 2 openings. However, you would use this part here. Hold on. Let me turn it to give you a better view, because you don't use it vertically. You use it like this, horizontally. So this would then be the mask face, which you would cut out, but you're like, how would I know where to cut out? Well, you grab this part here, and that fits almost perfectly over your nose and defines the jowls, I guess? I don't know. It almost goes onto the laugh lines. And so as a general face, you take this, you put it to where the top is between the eyes, and then that makes almost a perfect half mask for you. And then this part here, the negative space that you cut out, what can you do with that? See, it even has a crease down the middle. So what can you do with that but you place it here and use it as a snout? Look, I think this is great. This is near genius, if I do say so myself. You get to reuse almost everything, even the negative space, the part that they cut out for you, you get to use that. Oh, and so that's a very particular set of tissue boxes. I think it's, I don't know what, puffs or something. I don't have one on me right now, but there are boxes that have what is this, a tubular, no, not tube, what is it, square, rectangular opening, and this kind of works the same. Yeah, so your nose can at least fit here. Yeah, so you can cut it in half. And then your nose would fit up here. This kind of gives you, it's much smaller, but it should fit your lips between. And so you can just cut out a little bit more to give you extra breathing room or something. And so that style should also work. If you don't have, see, I'm using tissue boxes because if you got them, Or rather, no, hold on, what's this? I'm using tissue boxes because just about everyone has them. And so saving them for this gives them a second use after they're done holding the facial tissues. And I think it's so great. Oh man, okay. Yeah, so mask making tutorial and game is what I'm thinking. Okay, well, I think that's just about everything that I had planned. Let me check what I wrote down. Monday masks preview, right. Okay, also what I'm the off camera drawing that I did is going to be uploaded maybe tomorrow, maybe later today, maybe Wednesday. That's all I can say. I do okay. I want to illustrate the steps to mask making, and I might have pictures of the finished product. I don't know if I want to use the in progress photos that I took because they might be blurry. I don't know if I want to put my actual hands into a digital book. But if I get too lazy to want to illustrate the process of making it, then I will just use the photos. Okay. Now I think I think I'll draw. Now, actually. I don't know. Should I have music or should I just talk through it? You know what? This was a talking stream. I guess I'll speak throughout. Why? For no reason at all. That's why. Also because we've been going for about an hour. I think I can give about 30 minutes. Let's change the canvas size. Right, okay. 7 times 10, right? 7 with... Oh, look. 7 inches by 10 inches is not there's no optimal size for a tabletop book, but I bought some that are 7 by 10. I made some that are 7 by 10, and I really like the size. It's decent. It's not too big. Doesn't take up too much space, and because it's a little bit smaller than 8 by 11, you can also it helps you to fill out more pages. So yeah, I like 7 by 10. But it's also 300 pixels per inch, so 7 times 3, 21, right? 2100. Whoa! 21,000. Yes. By 10 would be 3K. I suppose that is right. Cool. Oh, and by the way, this is I think 300 is a resolution for print. So usually to save space on the PDF for digital, it will be, I don't know, 150, 144, I think. Let me change image resolution. Whoa, 6K, 600, I don't need. Let me just do that. Okay. Nice, there we go. So then I can change it to 144, and then what it does is it also reduces it by about half. So smaller size, smaller loading time. It's way easier on your laptop, and then you can and then what I've started to do is I start hyperlinking things into the page. Let me okay, you know what? Hold on, give me a moment. Okay. Going on break for a little bit. Let us check. Where are you? There we go. A little bit closer. And it is... Oh, come on. Yes, okay. Cool. Cancel. And we're back. Okay. So, what I've started to do is hyperlink stuff. So, if you click this, it'll take you to a website to where you can get Dreamkeepers of Oz. But if you click here, then it instantly takes you to the monsters. And then if we scroll back up and then we click short story, then it takes you to the short story. And yeah, this should this be standard in PDFs? Probably. Was it standard in PDFs that I put out? Probably not. But I've started to do it, which makes the digital reading a whole lot easier. And if you'll notice, when I opened it up, well, you wouldn't have noticed, but what I did is, first things first, we have the cover page. But also, each page fits onto the screen perfectly, so you can have it up on a TV or a monitor and it's instantly ready to read. Yeah, this is great. This is great. Okay. Right. So what do we need? I think let's focus on formatting. So this is about 7 by 10. I do believe have about 0.75 inch of a margin, and we have the rulers here. So we all know that 300 then okay, so we know that 300 then is 1 inch, and this right here, what is this, 3,000, this is then 1 inch, but you want it to be 0.75 of an inch, just so that way we can tell. 300.75, well, 150 would be half, then 150, then that'd be 12.5. Okay, hold on, I'm going insane for a second. Okay, it's 300.75. Why don't I just get half 150, then we cut that in half, 75, and then we add the two together, right? So that's 2. Was it just 225? I'm gonna be so sad. Yes, it was. Cool. I bet you weren't expecting math on this stream, but I have a hint for you. All tabletop RPGs are just math. That's all it is. You may think, oh, I'm just rolling dice, but no, you're rolling the averages for the dice. It's like a D20, the average is 10, but like D&D particularly skews skews the dice by giving you standard bonuses, a +1, a +3, a +5. And you can get all those by rolling dice. And by rolling dice, you also get the ability to... Whoa, hold on. By having dice combos, you get the ability to... You know what? I'm just going to do 200. I think that's pretty good. Okay, here we are. Okay, so by rolling dice, d20, but then you would get a +3. But the +3 is equal to a d6, because d6 average is a +3, but it also gives you the potential to get a +6. And so this is also part of what I talk about when I say I want to buff the players. I mean, of course, you also have the potential to get a +1, rather than having it be a standard +3. But this is a higher high than the low is low. Right, because the +3 is what you would have gotten, which means that there's only 2 below the 3, and there's 3 above the 3. So on average, so then this would be a 4/6 chance to get above what you normally would have gotten. And well, this does kind of decrease as the size increases. Like a +6 would be a plus d12. So rather than being 4/6, which would be what, 4 out of 6, that's almost 15, maybe 18, I think. But we'll go with 15 for the sake of the argument. 15 times 4, which would be 60. 60 plus about 3 times 4, so 72, I think. 72%. So +6 d12, this would be a 6, this would be a 7 out of 12, which would be different, I think. 12, you get to 120, 108, 108, 11. So we'll use this 11, I think. 108, and then be about... Oh, you know what? I think maybe it'd be about 67% chance, which is a little lower. 67 to get at or above. So it's always going to be more than 50%. And that's before you even add in the special dice, the power dice that you can add. Like even adding a d4 would be a +2 on average, which would actually be a 75% chance to get +2. I wonder if this is lower though. Right, because it is a 12. Right, so then, hold on, this is a 12th. So if it were 10, let me get this math out. Hold on, if it were a 10, then it would skew it in a 10 if it were. But then it has to be lower than 10. So the baseline is 50, but then it has to be lower than 10 because it's not a 10, it's a 12. So then it would be more like a 58% chance to roll higher. Anyways, that is part of the reason why I like dice combos. Higher highs, lows are not as bad. Also, it induces a little bit more variation to what you can and cannot do. Okay. What would I do here? For the top? No, you know what would be good? Taking something I already have and making it a I don't know what would be decent here. Truth be told, let's go ahead and mark this off. I want to do with a line. Straight line, straight black. I'll leave it. Okay. Get some water. Oi, wow. I have not talked this much ever. Ooh, but I am excited about finishing this, about getting it done, about maybe I'll play it on stream. That would be cool. I've seen a couple seen a couple of other people play their tabletops on stream. And I think that would be fun. I don't know, something like this, just what would this be? This would be like regal. Oh, dang. You know what? Maybe a cross somewhere would be cool. Like a, what is this called? I forget. I don't know. Just like a king or queen. Not like a, like a British king, shall we say. Edit, cut, edit, paste. And we're back. And it's too big. Transform, scale, rotate. So you may be wondering, oh, why is he putting an English cross when this is a world of yokai and monsters? Yeah, I don't know. It just looks good. I don't know, do I need a reason for everything? Probably. Will I have it? Not till after it's done. Let's actually do this. See, that's the beauty of digital. You only need to do one side. You know what? Let's actually make that curve. Ooh, that's not too bad. That's pretty good. You know what? I want a dot right here. No. That doesn't look good. You know what? That's pretty good by itself, I think. And just curve this a little bit more. Okay, shape that inward. Okay. You know what? I want this to drop down just a little bit lower. There we go. That's good. Make the, what is it? The branch, the root of the branch a bit thicker. Remove some of the excess. I want this to be more. There we go. Maybe I'll have this here. Maybe. It adds something. I don't know what it is, but it sure adds it. What if I cut this blank area up? Oh, I don't know. That kind of looks ugly. What if I do this? That looks worse. What if I take like this, like half a circle? And we have found out that it can get even worse. Oh, hold on. I just did something I liked. Hold on. What if I... Well, that's not too bad. And then I can imply that it comes back around. Ho, ho, ho. But now it's like an eye. Can I do this lower? Right, so this comes down into there. Can I do this here, maybe? It's something. It's something like trash is something. This is definitely something. Can I maybe... I don't know. You know what? Let me see it fully. Edit. Copy. Paste. Whoa. Flip. No thanks. No thanks. Transform. Flip horizontal. And we got it. And we found out that that is not centered at all. How does this look on a page, though? You know? For something graphic, that's not too bad. I kind of want this to be more... Just more. I want it to be more. But that's not working. That's not happening. And... Oh, hold on. You know what happened? It duplicated the black. Give me a moment. Which covered the red here. Okay, that's a bit better. Should I just have it on the top and bottom? Maybe. Let me merge with the layer below. Control copy. Oh no. Heckin' genius. Duplicate. Edit. Transform. Flip vertical. And here we go. Now, isn't that something? You know what? What if I want... just like a fish. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. A fish. Would that work? I mean, it's kind of graphic. Oh, but then could I have it going the other way on top? That would be cool. I don't know. What if I just have it blank? Right? What if I just have it blank? Oh no! Yeah, no. I need it blank. Oh my gosh. I just realized that I do need it blank for the sole reason that that I can. Okay, I need it blank for the sole reason that the. Where are you? Where is the pencil? Found it. That the page number goes here. That's something there. Oh man, but then I would need to fill this out, huh? Right, just hold on, this goes here, that goes there, this then comes down. I don't want it to touch the corner. That's gross, disgusting. A little bit more. Okay. Right, this implied something here. Okay, yeah, this will work. And I have little horns here to caress and cradle the yeah, this is great. Yeah, little horns to cradle the page number. I'll figure out. Yeah, no, I should do that. Resident genius. Oh man, humble too. Edit, cut, edit, undo, edit, paste, edit, transform, edit, flip horizontal. You fool, why would you do this to me? And now I've just got to line it up. Line it up perfectly. You know what? Hold on. Does that mean this one wasn't lined up? No, it looks lined up. Guess that's okay. Yeah, you know what? Let me just do that. That looks better. As good as better can look. I still think it needs something here. I don't know, what could I put here? Maybe something royal. Like a bird. Or grapes. Grapes? People eat grapes. Kings eat grapes. What do grapes look like? Is that good? Or a card, maybe? But then I need the design for it. Or a fox. That ear's all wrong. Or a fox. I don't know. Or a coin. Or just a dot. Okay, hold on. How does that look? No idea. Maybe a square. Nah. come on, right click, work. Why don't you work? Thank you. Of course. Yes, yes, yes. And delete. Sure enough, looks a little bit better, I think. Okay, now to the main course. Well, if this wasn't the main course, I'll save it later. You know what? I'm gonna save it now. Give me a moment. File save. What do I call it? Background, I guess? Page back? Yeah. Page back. And we're back. Oh yeah, if you noticed, the little cat, Tabitha, in the corner. Is she flying? Kind of, whenever she jumps. But she's more saturated now. So before she was a little dead end, just given that the saturation was low, and I think her blink had her saturation a little. Her blink was correct, but her normal face was not. So in the recording I saw it flip between the two, but now that should be fixed. Yep, just little quality of life things. Which one of them will be a new a placeholder image, I guess, for a stream start, stream ending, and then maybe some new music, I think, because there's some copyright free stuff I could get. Okay, page back. Time is it? 11:25. Wow, this has been going on for a little bit. I think I could do better. Okay. Now. The page was about... Right, 2100 here. Sure, this will work. 2100 with the 0.75 inch margin. And split into thirds. So 75 inch margin. Let me grab this. It's about... This would be a 1 inch margin at 1800. 1800. Let me mark out the other one too. 300. 1800, 300. Then this is split into thirds, which I don't actually need to mark out all of them. Only whatever I can mark out, whatever it's allowing me to. Only about that much. Right, so then this is our two columns, which aren't actually totally fully connected. About this much, about this much. Which means that I will have to... do this. And yeah, I'm going to put a little bit extra room just so that way I won't accidentally cover any text that's going to be on the left hand side. Okay. Let's do this. Okay, first things first, I need an airbrush. Sure, I'll make it that big. I want to make... Okay, let's clearly define the background, which will be about here. Okay, I need to get rid of these guides. Okay. Sit up straight. And begin. So I want to define this. Let's make the floor a little bit bigger than the top. Just to give it a sense of what, sturdiness, rooted into the ground. Okay. So I want this to be a little closer to the edge. And that's okay if we go over, because we already gave ourselves a little margin. And it's gonna be behind the text, and if it's airbrushed like this, no loss at all. It will cover the sides though. And now I don't know what to put. Maybe I could just draw monsters. Whoa, that blends in way too much. It's a little bit better. Monsters, huh? Monsters. Should be like a bookmark, maybe. Oh, that's something. Make it two separate scenes. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've got an idea. So what we can do is that we can put this will be sunshine, right? Since it's two books, I can then have this be used. This will be the sun, this will be the moon, and then what I will do is that for the second book, I can reuse the same thing, but I'll transform and then flip it vertical, and then the moon becomes the one on the bottom, and the sun becomes the one flipped over, and that way I can save time by just drawing this ending, this border, I guess, once. Oh man, I'm a thinker. I'm thinking. What will be there, I don't know, but something. Just hold on. Yeah, you know what? I will have to think about this. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. All right, well, 11:31. That's an hour and a half. I think I've given you. So, thank you for joining. Yeah, this is gonna be the end. So, let me.
Rise, call, wreath, strength, loud, shout, bold, leap, dance, move, heart, fire, lift, gold, joy, hope, climb, spirit, soar, high, free, faith, light, sing, soul, deep, strong, we thrive, share, no dream, bright, sound, clear, together united, rise up, have no fear.
Yo monster, go monster. Feel the power, hear the beat. Together we will roar. Lift your voice, feel the heat.
Brave, fight, let powered strive, break the mold. Stand strong, proud, rise up, we won't fold. Sharp and fierce, bold.
hear the beat. Together we will roar. Lift your voice, feel the heat.
With every heartbeat we ascend, ascend. The echoes guiding with no end, no end. Together we chant the spirits rise, they rise. Feel it deep, let freedom fly.
Feel the power, hear the beat. Together we will roar. Lift your voice, feel the heat.